They kind of go boom. Oh, were you recording that? Why? Hello there, I'm Mark, and I enjoy Le Pack. No pack's fine, thanks. I also like Activia. I like Active. I love these things, pepperoni. Meatster. But what about Moretti? Mapelli. Okay, well, I like Range Rover Evoque. Yeah, but I like... Yep, there's the payoff. Not sure if it's worth it. Fun fact, I did the special effects for that Tom Hardy film about the Crankies.
Please can I have another egg? Fine.
So, Range Rover Evoque versus Jaecoo number 7. It's not as mental as you might think. So you know very well what this thing is. Designed by Victoria Beckham, owned by 94.5% of beauty salon employees and gym enthusiasts. Basically the second most desirable object in the UK behind this bag for life. And that's why across 2 generations since 2011, more than 1 million have been sold. But look at this thing, man. Yeah, look at this thing. I shit you not, within a day of the Jaecoo turning up at my house, 3 people said the same thing. It looks like a Range Rover.
3 people.
And I also know for a fact that people on the internet feel the same way. Look at this Google thing. You can check it yourself. And that's why we're here. But Jaecoo is not owned by Land Rover. It is owned by a massive car conglomerate from China called Chery Automotive. You know Chery, right? They make the Tiggo 8. No? Okay. And Chery made up Jaecoo all the way back in 2023. So, and they did it specifically to make SUVs, specifically for Europe. It's very specific. About a year before that, they'd set up a company called Moda to do pretty much the same thing, except it was a bit cheaper. So that makes Jaecoo the fancy one.
King in the castle.
It's a bit like, well, what Range Rover is to Land Rover, I suppose. Anyways, with the 7 here, Jaecoo hasn't even tried to hide what the main influence is. The Noel Gallagher approach? Damn it, so close. The Noel Gallagher approach.
How sweet to be
What's weird is, you will totally see the Evoque influence when you spot one of these by itself. But put them together and, well, look. I mean, they're about the same size, and the glass at the side is a similar thing where it sort of goes up as it goes back. Technical design speak for you there. And I guess these bits are quite similar, but the interiors have no similarities at all. Really, the only bit that Land Rover could possibly sue Jaecoo for is this bit. So it's ironic that they're probably the worst part of this car, or one of them definitely. It's because when you pull away and they go back into the body, it's so loud, they're so undampened, that it genuinely sounds and feels like you've hit something.
flashback.
Anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. What actually is a Jaecoo number 7? Yes, the Jaecoo 7 with its enormous cartoonish metal face that's supposed to make the car seem premium, but just makes it look like an engine has been incarcerated. Aye, that's engine as in petrol engine. So in a really rare move for a brand new Chinese car, the Jaecoo 7 isn't even electric. It's just got a petrol engine, or this one with a petrol plus an electric motor, a PHEV, a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. The basic petrol one has rubbish MPGs and it's proper slow, but you can have it with 4-wheel drive if you want. And then the plug-in hybrid allegedly does 400 miles per gallon, but I know for a fact that that's bollocks. It always is with these things. Here's what it actually does, about 60 miles per gallon. Now that's very good for a car this big, but it's clearly not quite 400. Every 7 gets loads of stuff though. Look at this. This is a basic car. Automatic tailgate, heated seats in the leather style. And here's the kicker. All this for 30 grand. So here's a car that's well equipped, that some people might think is a Range Rover Evoque, or certainly looks like one, but it costs literally 2/3 of the price. Yeah, 45 grand and upwards for this thing, but actually the lease rates are even further apart, which is probably more significant because, as you know, most of these things tend to be financed, right? And the Range Rover is extremely poorly equipped as standard, presumably. No, as it happens. Despite the Range Rover having more trim choice and engine choice, including diesel, which is good if you're going to be on the motorway a lot, it pretty much matches the Jaecoo for equipment. Although actually, look at these things that a basic Jaecoo gets that the Evoque doesn't. Fun fact, the price difference between these two cars will buy you 286 pairs of Gymshark sweatpants, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Anyways, enough data, let's get on to why we're here. Yes, let's do a twin test in sections. So, serendipitously, both of the cars I'm driving today are plug-in hybrids, so we can compare them like for like-ish. Right then, first up. I mean, this category is a foregone conclusion really, but it might surprise you to learn that the Jaecoo's plug-in hybrid system, which is obviously cheaper to get, is more sophisticated than the Range Rover's, or it looks that way on paper anyway. You see, it has superior MPGs and a longer electric-only range. Although the Evoque is more powerful, so it's quicker, but still, we're talking money now, right? So... in most ways, the Evoque here is just everything that you want it to be, everything that you expect it to be. Really high driving position, good visibility. It does feel a bit dark in here, like the glass is a bit shallow, the rear visibility is not that great. But you can tell within a few yards what it is, what it does. So like the steering's light, ride quality is really soft, it's dead quiet. It does do a really good job of shutting out the outside world. Range Rover is the master of luxurious ride quality, yeah? Like if you've ever been in a big Range Rover, a proper one, they are like a benchmark for how a car should float over the road gently. So it's not really a very shocking thing to say that this kind of does the same thing, but just slightly less good. However, engine noise, you'll hear it. Hear it louder than the sweat hitting the table that's dripping off Prince Andrew in a Pizza Express.
Oh, hell no!
It's fine most of the time. It's tootling along at 30 miles per hour. It's dead quiet.
But oh.
This doesn't feel anywhere near as quick as it's supposed to be. So you're doing low speed, right? Foot down. There it is. Fair neck. It really bursts the refinement bubble, that. What's that noise? Decelerating sounds like a sheep is being sheared from 100 yards away. It is very clear what the Jaecoo here has been benchmarked against. But that's obviously good because it means it basically has the same sort of qualities. Same good stuff, good visibility, light steering, soft ride. Unsurprisingly though, it does do all those things in a bit more of a low budget sort of a way. But especially the way it goes over the road. The ride quality. It's all a bit like loose, a bit wobbly, a bit unsophisticated. Like where the Range Rover feels well dampened, like it's got decent body control while feeling soft and floaty, this just feels all over the shop. We are talking new ones here, like it's not terrible. This is clearly not a driver's car. It's not a car that's in any way fun to drive. It's vaguer than a reform policy. But what that does mean is that generally, like especially at low speed when you're just going from A to B, it feels comfy, feels good. Apart from the brakes are awful. Like they're really grabby and inconsistent and just kind of make the car do that a lot. But what is genuinely surprising about driving this thing right after driving the Evoque is how much quieter the engine is. Didn't expect that, did you? And beyond that, it just generally feels better engineered. Like the way it switches between electric modes and putting the petrol engine on, it's just much smoother. It's slower than the Evoque hybrid. Christ, it's slower than jogging, but buy this for fuel economy, right? Not for speed. And in fact, speed in this car would be altogether unpleasant. Both of these are obviously oblongs and look quite big, but it might surprise you to learn that they actually both suffer from a similar issue of feeling a bit less spacious inside than you probably expect, and quite shit interior storage too, both of them. Although I do like the Jaecoo's glove box. I don't laugh at many glove boxes, believe it or not, but this one, they really made us laugh. They've damped it in such a way that you can't actually open it fully. They make you watch the damping. You can't pull me down. Look at me damping. Look at me damping. Ooh. Anyways, the Jaecoo does have a little bit more legroom. This is me sat behind my driving position in the Jaecoo and now in the Range Rover. Both have massive tailgates, which is obviously really good. Although, despite the Range Rover's boot being slightly bigger, it doesn't have any underfloor storage because there's a massive rubber ring thing here. And when you drop the rear seats in them, only the Jaekoos go completely flat. It's weird that the Evoque seats don't drop flat. I mean, it's obviously this. Yeah, I say obviously, it is rattling quite a lot, this cabin. It's a bit like Robbie Williams' hair. It's starting to look its age now. It's all a bit grey, but it's lovely and soft to touch. Anyways, moving on. Conversely, yeah, we're going to come back to this whole thing. It's a problem. Conversely, this is probably a bit above your expectations. Quite a lot of soft touch stuff, feels high quality. Like, it's not dazzling, it's not that interesting, but it is more interesting than the Range Rover interior. It's little things like the cabin lighting is really nice, and you can basically pick it in any colour you want. Although I have to say, this is the worst black paint that I've ever seen on a new car. This car had like 1,500 miles or something, and it's already hologramming. This massive white line here, I thought that was a scratch, but it was just a defect in the paint where the sunlight was hitting it. It could just be this particular car, but honestly, it was awful. They're both rated 5 stars by Euro NCAP, and they both have loads of safety stuff as standard, so it is harsh to pick one over the other. However, this car has the most annoying attention alert system since they picked up that Hitman guy in Dumb and Dumber. It is just constantly telling you to pay attention, right? You look at the screen to adjust the aircon, it'll scream at you. You look at your rear view mirror so that you can safely check what's behind you, it'll tell you to pay attention to the road ahead. Same thing with your wing mirrors. It is just constantly... Anyway, it's not a good thing, but I have figured out how to fix it. Now, the reason that it's tracking you through this camera here, so obviously, if you cover it up, it can't track you anymore, right? No more bongs. And so, or you could just like turn it off in the menus, but where's the fun in that? I am looking at the So as you probably know, the issue of car intuitiveness is no longer about where the physical buttons are placed. Instead, it's about how good the car company's software engineers are. Damn you, Tesla. So, which screen is the least sluggish and has the least baffling software to use? Well, I'm gonna go this one. Just. Now the screens here are both among the better ones that you'll use. They do both have their little issues though. This one actually is very good to use. It's a bit Tesla-ish. The problem that it has is that if you do anything on it, then the camera detects that your eye's on the road and it goes ballistic at you. Generally it's okay. It looks good and it's obvious what you have to do. They had to make it obvious really, didn't they? Otherwise... On that basis, I could give it to this. Mainly because there's no sense of impending doom when you're fiddling around with this screen, like you're about to get barked at. But generally it is a million miles better than the stuff that Land Rover used to do, which you would expect obviously. The screen looks a bit small these days, and because there isn't as much actual screen space, you are looking at menus a bit more than you do in the Jaecoo system. Right, yeah, so you see, I want to turn the fan speed down. It felt like one too many taps to do that. Plus, if you don't really get on with the screen, it has Alexa built into it, so you can tell it what to do most of the time. Yeah, I prefer the Jaecoo screen. Well, it appears that we have a draw. How convenient. But also it is a bit weird, right? Because what the Jaecoo is actually, it's like a mid-size, mid-spec, mid-level, just mid crossover type thing. It's like a Nissan Qashqai type car, a Skoda Kodiaq thing. But it's one that looks a bit like a Range Rover, deliberately or otherwise. But whatever, we make that connection. So for me, the fact that the Jaecoo is even in the same conversation as this car, even like close to the same league, it kind of says more about the shortcomings of this car than it does about the Jaecoo being brilliant. I like the Jaecoo, I do, but not that. I like the Jaecoo. But it's also flattering to deceive here in this particular segment.
Are you playing, man? Say it like I can't.
It's like you hear Range Rover versus Jaecoo and you think Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. But actually the Range Rover isn't really like old Mike Tyson.
Uppercut and Marvis is hurt.
It's more like old Mike Tyson. And actually, lots of other SUV-shaped cars that cost around 35 grand and aren't premium do a lot of things better than this does. The interior of this thing is miles ahead of the Jaecoo's. Design-wise, quality-wise, not steering wheel size-wise, but you know, apart from that. And in general, to drive, the Peugeot just feels a lot slicker, a lot more cultured. The Formentor is a bit more expensive than the Jaecoo, but it's a lot more interesting to drive and to look at. And to be honest, if this all looks a bit too much for you, there's always something more boring from Volkswagen or Skoda that basically does the same thing. And again, much better ostensible quality, better refinement, more intuitive infotainment, great warranty, great ownership experience in general. Kias are mint these days. And the list goes on because there are absolutely loads of these cars now because they're what family buyers like to buy. So I found myself in this strange area of cognitive dissonance where somehow I genuinely believe that the Jaecoo 7 is a good alternative to a Range Rover and one that you should totally consider. But, and this is where the dissonance comes in, it's not anywhere near as good as a load of other like mid-level SUV type cars that you would just never consider against the Range Rover.
So I'm confused.
Don't really know where to go from here, to be honest. Oh yeah, middle aisle Range Rover. It's feasible that people will think that this cheap Chinese SUV is a Range Rover. So spread it on your driveway like Node Pack. There you go. The art of good storytelling is to tie everything up at the end, so, you know, we did that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe. Bye. You're doing great. That'll do.